There's an undeniable strength in being remembered, in lingering in someone's mind long after you've left the room. Imagine this. Moments when you're absent, yet your presence feels palpable, echoed in their thoughts, reflected in their decisions, and alive in their reflections. This isn't about playing games or crafting clever tricks to stand out. It's about something far deeper, mastery. Not mastery over others, but mastery over oneself. The way you carry your being, the quiet dignity you project, and the intrinsic value you cultivate through your actions. The ancient Stoics, Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, recognized this centuries ago. They taught that true influence comes not from the loudness of one's voice, but from the clarity of one's soul. It's about becoming a person of substance, someone whose mere presence leaves a lasting impression, not because of how often they are seen, but because of the weight of their character. When you embody calm strength, measured thought, and unwavering purpose, you don't need to seek attention. Attention finds you. Respect follows. And admiration lingers. This isn't about crafting an image. It's about shaping your essence. Becoming memorable doesn't require manipulation. It requires depth. The depth of your thoughts, the steadiness of your emotions, and the strength of your convictions. By mastering these 10 Stoic skills, you can cultivate a presence that resonates long after you've stepped away, making you unforgettable, not because you tried, but because you simply are. Let's explore how. Skill 1. Mastering calmness amid chaos. Picture yourself in a room where emotions are running high, voices raised, tension thick in the air, and all eyes waiting for someone to lose control. In moments like these, most people allow their emotions to dictate their actions, reacting impulsively, often escalating the chaos. But imagine being the person who, instead of adding to the fire, brings stillness, a composed presence that disrupts the storm not by force but by quiet strength. This is where the true power of calmness lies. It's not weakness, it's mastery. It's not avoidance, it's deliberate control. The Stoics believe that calmness in the face of chaos is the hallmark of inner strength. Seneca famously stated, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." What he meant was that while the world around us may be chaotic and unpredictable, we can always control how we respond. Remaining calm isn't about suppressing emotions or pretending they don't exist. It's about acknowledging them, understanding them, and choosing to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. This level of self-command not only shifts the energy in a tense situation, but also sets you apart from the crowd. In a world where most people are ruled by emotion, the ability to maintain composure is rare and therefore unforgettable. When you consistently display calmness under pressure, you cultivate a reputation for being steady, reliable, and resilient. People may not always remember your words, but they will remember how you made them feel during moments of uncertainty. They will recall your ability to bring clarity where there was confusion and peace where there was turmoil. This calmness becomes a part of your identity, a quiet but unmistakable strength that others can't help but respect and admire. However, mastering calmness isn't easy. It's a skill, much like a muscle, that requires consistent practice. The next time you find yourself in a difficult or emotionally charged situation, take a moment. Breathe. Allow yourself a pause between stimulus and response. In that pause lies your power. The power to control the narrative, to steer the moment toward resolution rather than conflict, and to command respect through calm authority. Ultimately, calmness isn't just about how you handle external events. It's about mastering your internal world. It's about ensuring that no matter how chaotic life gets, you remain anchored, unshaken by the waves crashing around you. And that's the kind of presence people never forget. The person who, in the midst of the storm, stood steady and strong. This is the essence of Stoic calmness. Quiet mastery that transforms chaos into calm, both for yourself and those around you. Skill 2. Cultivating unyielding self-control. Imagine standing at the crossroads of impulse and intention, where a fleeting emotion urges you to act, but a deeper awareness calls for pause. In those moments, the ability to choose intention over impulse defines true self-mastery. Most people are slaves to their emotions, reacting in ways that they later regret, driven by anger, fear, or frustration. But those who have cultivated self-control stand apart. They are not puppets of circumstance, but deliberate architects of their responses. The Stoics taught that self-control is not merely about restraint, but about the art of governing oneself. Epictetus, one of Stoicism's greatest teachers, urged, "No man is free who is not master of himself." To the Stoics, freedom wasn't just about external liberty. It was about inner autonomy, the ability to choose one's response irrespective of external pressures. Self-control, therefore, isn't suppression. It's selection. It's deciding what is worth your energy and what isn't. It's about rising above the pull of immediate gratification in favor of long-term well-being and integrity. In a world obsessed with instant reactions and quick gratification, self-control is a quiet superpower. When you refuse to be provoked by trivial matters, you send a powerful message that you are in command of yourself, not swayed by every passing emotion or external event. This steadiness breeds respect. People begin to see you as someone reliable, someone who can be counted on to remain rational in moments of tension. They admire the strength it takes to respond with patience when provoked and to choose thoughtful action over reckless reaction. Yet, self-control isn't something that appears overnight. It's a discipline built through consistent practice. Each time you resist the urge to react impulsively, you strengthen that muscle. It's in the little moments, choosing to listen instead of interrupt, pausing before sending that angry message, or breathing through frustration rather than lashing out, where true self-control is forged. Over time, this practice transforms you into someone who is not easily shaken by the chaos around them. More importantly, self-control isn't about appearing calm to others. It's about the peace it brings within. When you master self-control, you no longer feel at the mercy of every passing mood or situation. You gain clarity, confidence, and the ability to lead your life with intention. This inner harmony radiates outward, drawing others to you, not because you seek their attention, but because they are drawn to your unshakable presence. Ultimately, mastering self-control is about freedom. The freedom to be who you choose to be, rather than a product of circumstance. And when you embody that freedom, you become memorable, not for dominating others, but for mastering yourself. This is the power of Stoic self-control, a quiet force that anchors you in a world full of chaos, making you a beacon of calm strength and unwavering purpose. Skill 3. The art of rational decision-making. In life, there will always be moments when the pressure to act is immense. When uncertainty looms large, emotions run high, and everyone around you seems to be rushing into decisions out of fear or frustration. It's in these moments that the ability to pause, think, and choose wisely sets you apart. Rational decision-making is not just a skill. It's an art that the Stoics mastered and taught as a cornerstone of personal strength. The ancient Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius reminded us, the happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts. The Stoics believe that clear, rational thinking is essential to living well. It means approaching every situation with a calm, collected mind and focusing not on how you feel in the moment, but on what truly serves your long-term values and well-being. Rational decision-making, therefore, is about acting with purpose, not impulse, choosing what's right, not what's easy. Think of a scenario where chaos unfolds at work, a critical issue arises, and panic sets in among your colleagues. While others scramble to act without fully understanding the situation, you take a step back. You observe, reflect, and calmly assess the best course of action. In doing so, you not only make a thoughtful decision but also inspire calmness in those around you. People begin to rely on your judgment because they see that you don't get swept up by the urgency of the moment. You bring clarity where others see confusion. But rational decision-making goes beyond simply remaining calm. It requires cultivating a mindset of thoughtful analysis and purposeful action. It's about training yourself to consider the broader picture rather than being trapped by immediate emotions or pressures. This means asking yourself critical questions. What are the possible outcomes? What truly matters here? What action aligns with my principles? When you develop this habit, your decisions gain weight and meaning, and your presence commands respect. In personal life, too, this skill is transformative. How often do we let fleeting emotions drive our choices, whether in relationships, finances, or daily interactions? By embracing a Stoic approach to decision-making, you eliminate unnecessary stress and drama. You stop reacting to every emotional impulse and start acting with intention. This shift not only brings peace to your life, but also elevates how others perceive you. You become someone who is trusted, admired, and sought after for guidance during challenging times. However, rational decision-making doesn't mean ignoring emotions. The Stoics never taught us to become cold or indifferent. Instead, they urged us to recognize our emotions, understand them, but not let them dictate our actions. As Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." True wisdom lies in balancing emotional awareness with thoughtful reasoning, ensuring that your decisions serve your highest good, not temporary comfort. By consistently practicing rational decision-making, you cultivate a presence that is steady and wise. People will remember you, not because you always have the answers, but because you approach life's challenges with thoughtfulness and purpose. In a world driven by impulsive reactions, the ability to think clearly and act decisively is rare, making those who possess it stand out. This is the essence of Stoic rationality: a calm mind, a clear purpose, and the courage to choose wisely amidst the chaos of life. Skill 4. Building unbreakable resilience in the face of adversity. Life, in all its complexity, is a series of trials, unexpected setbacks, personal failures, and moments of crushing disappointment. While many people are shattered by adversity, dwelling on what went wrong or allowing it to define them, those who embrace resilience emerge stronger. The Stoics saw adversity not as a curse, but as a teacher, a necessary force in shaping one's character and fortitude. Resilience, in their view, wasn't merely about survival. It was about transformation. Seneca, with his characteristic clarity, once said, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials." Stoicism teaches us that hardship is not an end, but an opportunity, a moment to refine ourselves, to strengthen our inner resolve. True resilience isn't about pretending everything is fine or denying the pain of struggle. It's about facing difficulty head-on, accepting the discomfort, and choosing to persevere with courage and grace. Consider a situation where you've suffered a significant setback, perhaps a failed business venture or the end of an important relationship. While most people might get stuck in a loop of regret and self-pity, a Stoic approach calls you to see beyond the immediate pain. Instead of asking, "Why did this happen to me?" you ask, "What can I learn from this?" By shifting your perspective, you transform the setback from a source of defeat into a catalyst for growth. Resilience, according to Stoic philosophy, is not innate. It's a skill cultivated through repeated practice. Each time you confront a challenge and choose to rise, you strengthen your capacity to endure future difficulties. This kind of resilience doesn't just help you survive. It allows you to thrive in the face of adversity. Over time, people begin to notice your ability to remain steadfast when life gets tough. They admire your quiet strength, your refusal to be broken by circumstances. You become a source of inspiration, not because you are immune to hardship, but because you refuse to let it define you. In a world that often glamorizes ease and comfort, resilience is a rare and invaluable trait. Those who embody it stand out because they possess an inner fortitude that others lack. They don't crumble when faced with difficulty. They rise again and again, becoming stronger with each challenge. This strength creates a lasting impression. People remember those who endured when others gave up, those who continued to move forward when the road seemed impossibly hard. Yet, resilience isn't about pushing through without reflection. It's about learning and adapting. Marcus Aurelius captured this beautifully when he wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Every obstacle, when approached with the right mindset, becomes a stepping stone toward becoming a better, wiser version of yourself. Ultimately, resilience isn't just about surviving life's storms. It's about letting those storms shape you into someone stronger, wiser, and more compassionate. And when people see you navigating hardship with grace, they remember. They see you as a person who doesn't just weather life's challenges, but uses them as opportunities to grow. This is the essence of Stoic resilience. Embracing adversity not as something to be feared, but as a necessary path toward personal greatness. Skill 5. The rare power of mindful presence. In today's fast-paced world, where distractions are endless and genuine connections are increasingly rare, the ability to be fully present is a powerful and transformative skill. We live in an age where attention is fragmented. People multitask, half-listen, and rush from one thing to the next, seldom giving their full focus to any single moment. Yet, it's precisely this environment that makes mindful presence such a valuable quality. To be fully present, to engage deeply and intentionally, is to offer something that others crave but rarely experience. The Stoics understood the profound importance of presence. Marcus Aurelius urged, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." This reflects a mindset of mindfulness, an appreciation of the moment as something precious and fleeting. Presence, in the Stoic sense, is about grounding yourself in the now, fully experiencing life, whether in solitude or in interaction with others. Imagine a conversation where someone truly listens. No distractions, no divided attention, just an earnest engagement in the dialogue. In that moment, the person speaking feels seen, heard, and understood. This kind of presence leaves a lasting impression because it's so uncommon. Think about your own experiences. How often have you felt dismissed or overlooked because the other person wasn't really paying attention? And how memorable was it when someone gave you their undivided focus, making you feel genuinely valued? That's the power of mindful presence. It creates moments that people remember long after they've ended. Mindful presence isn't about dominating a conversation or impressing others. It's about creating space for connection. When you're truly present, you don't need to speak much. Your presence itself speaks volumes. It signals respect, empathy, and a rare kind of attentiveness that makes others feel important. Over time, this consistent engagement builds trust and deepens relationships, making you someone people want to be around, not because you seek attention, but because your presence offers something grounding and real. Practicing mindful presence requires effort, especially in a world constantly competing for your attention. It means putting away distractions, silencing the internal noise of your mind, and focusing on what's in front of you. Whether it's a task, a conversation, or a moment of reflection, being fully present requires discipline. A discipline the Stoics prized because they knew that life is nothing more than a series of present moments. To be absent in those moments is to miss life itself. But mindful presence isn't just for others, it's also for yourself. When you cultivate the ability to be present, you experience life more vividly. You become more aware of the subtleties around you, the tone of a voice, the emotions behind words, the beauty in simple things. This awareness brings clarity, peace, and a sense of fulfillment. You no longer feel pulled in 100 different directions because your focus is anchored in what truly matters, the here and now. Ultimately, mindful presence sets you apart in a world driven by distraction. People remember those who make them feel seen and valued. They remember the rare individual who listens without interruption, engages without distraction, and shows up fully, not just physically but mentally and emotionally. This is the essence of Stoic mindful presence, living with intention, being fully engaged in each moment, and creating connections that endure. In a world where so many are lost in their own minds, the person who is truly present becomes unforgettable. Skill 6. The mastery of emotional regulation. Emotions are a natural part of being human. They surge through us, triggered by external events, often demanding immediate action. For most people, emotions are like waves, tossing them around unpredictably, dictating their words and actions. But what if, instead of being ruled by emotions, you could govern them? What if, in the heat of anger or frustration, you could choose not to react, but to respond with clarity and intention? This is emotional regulation, a skill at the heart of Stoic philosophy and one that, when mastered, brings unparalleled inner strength. The Stoics never taught that we should suppress emotions or pretend they don't exist. Instead, they urged us to acknowledge our emotions but not be controlled by them. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This simple yet profound statement highlights a key Stoic principle. While external events may be beyond your control, your reaction to them is always within your power. Emotional regulation is about creating a space between stimulus and response, a space where wisdom, not impulse, governs your actions. Consider a moment when someone provokes you, perhaps a sharp remark or a frustrating situation at work. The immediate urge is to react, to defend yourself, or to lash out. Yet, if you pause, take a breath, and allow your mind to regain clarity, you shift from reacting emotionally to responding thoughtfully. This small act of self-restraint is powerful. It not only diffuses conflict, but also leaves a lasting impression on those around you. People start to see you as composed, balanced, and in control, a stark contrast to those who are easily driven by their emotions. In a world where emotional outbursts are common, emotional regulation becomes a rare and valuable skill. It sets you apart because it shows that you are guided by reason, not by fleeting feelings. Over time, this mastery builds trust. People begin to look to you in moments of tension, knowing that you won't escalate the situation but will bring calm and perspective. You become a stabilizing presence, someone who others respect not because of loud dominance, but because of quiet strength. But emotional regulation isn't just about how others see you. It profoundly impacts your inner life. When you gain control over your emotions, you experience a sense of peace that few ever achieve. You're no longer a prisoner of external circumstances or internal turmoil. Instead, you navigate life with a steady mind, unaffected by the highs and lows that derail so many. Marcus Aurelius, one of Stoicism's greatest thinkers, put it best: "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. True power, according to the Stoics, is not in controlling others, but in mastering oneself. This mastery doesn't happen overnight. It requires daily practice, moments of reflection, mindfulness, and the conscious decision to choose reason over impulse. But with time, it becomes second nature. You begin to notice the subtle shift in your life. Fewer moments of regret over things said in anger, fewer rash decisions made in haste, and a greater sense of control over your own destiny. Ultimately, emotional regulation transforms not only how you interact with the world, but also how you perceive yourself. You develop a quiet confidence, knowing that no matter what life throws at you, you can handle it with grace and composure. And in a world where most are led by their emotions, those who lead their emotions become unforgettable. This is the essence of Stoic emotional regulation. The ability to rise above, to choose wisely, and to live with the kind of inner peace that others can only admire. Skill 7. The power of intentional action. In a world driven by haste, where people often act out of habit or impulse, the ability to act with intention is a rare and defining trait. Too often, we move through life on autopilot, making decisions based on fleeting emotions or external pressures rather than thoughtful purpose. But the Stoics taught that a truly fulfilled life is one lived with intention, where every action is deliberate and aligned with one's core values. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." This Stoic principle underscores the importance of intentional action. It's not enough to think about what you want to become or how you wish to act. You must deliberately choose to live according to those ideals. Acting with intention means pausing before you act, asking yourself whether your actions are driven by virtue or by impulse, and ensuring that what you do serves a higher purpose. Imagine a scenario where you're faced with a difficult decision, perhaps a conflict at work or a disagreement with a loved one. The natural reaction might be to act quickly, either to defend yourself or to resolve the situation as fast as possible. But intentional action calls for something different. It requires you to pause, reflect on your principles, and choose a response that is thoughtful and purposeful. By doing so, you not only act with clarity but also create a sense of respect and trust in those around you. People begin to see you as someone who doesn't act out of impulse, but out of reason, a person whose actions carry meaning and weight. Intentional action, however, is not about overthinking or hesitation. It's about cultivating a habit of thoughtful decisiveness. The Stoics believe that every action should contribute to a life of virtue, courage, wisdom, justice, and temperance. When you act with intention, you align yourself with these timeless virtues, ensuring that your actions not only serve immediate needs, but also contribute to your long-term growth and integrity. In personal life, this skill transforms how you approach relationships, goals, and challenges. Instead of reacting to situations as they arise, you approach them with a sense of purpose. Whether it's setting meaningful goals or choosing how to spend your time, intentional action ensures that you are in control of your life's direction. Over time, this consistent alignment with your values creates a sense of inner peace and fulfillment, because you know that your actions are not random or reactive but deliberate and meaningful. But intentional action doesn't just benefit you, it impacts those around you. When people see that you act with purpose, they are drawn to you. They begin to trust your judgment, respect your decisions, and seek your guidance. This influence is not achieved through force or manipulation, but through the quiet strength of living with intention. People are inspired by those who live with clarity and purpose because it's something they often struggle to find in their own lives. Ultimately, acting with intention is about becoming the master of your own life. It's about ensuring that your actions, big or small, reflect who you truly are and who you aspire to be. In a world where so many are carried along by circumstances and impulses, those who act with deliberate purpose stand out. They are remembered not because they tried to be memorable, but because they lived in a way that commanded respect. This is the essence of Stoic intentional action, thoughtful decisiveness that shapes not only your own life but also inspires those around you to seek a higher way of being. Skill 8. The quiet strength of humility. In a world that often glorifies self-promotion, dominance, and the need to be constantly seen, humility stands out as a rare and powerful virtue. Many mistake humility for weakness or self-deprecation, but true humility, as taught by the Stoics, is something entirely different. It's the quiet confidence that comes from knowing your worth without feeling the need to broadcast it. It's the strength to act with purpose, succeed without arrogance, and acknowledge that no matter how much you achieve, there is always more to learn. The Stoics revered humility because they saw it as a pathway to wisdom. Epictetus advised, "It is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows." This simple truth reveals a profound reality. Arrogance blinds us to growth, while humility opens the door to constant improvement. When you embrace humility, you recognize that mastery is a journey, not a destination. You remain open to feedback, willing to admit when you are wrong, and ready to learn from anyone, regardless of their status. Humility also cultivates respect. Think about the people you admire most, not because of their titles or wealth, but because of how they carry themselves. These are the individuals who, despite their achievements, remain grounded. They listen more than they speak. They offer guidance without seeking praise. Their presence is felt not because they demand attention, but because they command respect through their quiet strength. This is the essence of Stoic humility, being so secure in oneself that there is no need to prove anything to others. But cultivating humility requires deliberate effort. In a society driven by comparison and competition, it's easy to get caught up in the race for recognition. The Stoics remind us that external validation is fleeting and ultimately beyond our control. Instead, they urge us to focus on our character, on living a life of virtue, where the goal is not to impress others, but to remain true to ourselves. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most powerful men of his time, constantly reminded himself in his meditations to act with humility despite his imperial position. He understood that real greatness comes not from titles, but from the integrity of one's actions. Humility, however, doesn't mean diminishing yourself or avoiding ambition. The Stoics believed in striving for excellence, but without ego. It's about doing great work because it aligns with your values, not because you seek applause. When you succeed, humility keeps you grounded, reminding you that success is never entirely your own. It's influenced by those who helped you along the way, by circumstances beyond your control, and by the unpredictable nature of life itself. Moreover, humility builds deeper connections with others. When you approach people without pretense, they feel at ease. They sense that you are genuine, approachable, and willing to engage with them as equals. Over time, this fosters trust and admiration. People begin to see you as a leader, not because you demand to be one, but because you embody the qualities they respect. Humility, when practiced consistently, creates a quiet but lasting influence, shaping how others perceive you. Ultimately, humility is a reflection of inner strength. It takes courage to admit what you don't know, to accept that you are a work in progress, and to act without seeking recognition. But when you cultivate this strength, you become someone others admire, not because you sought their admiration, but because you live with quiet purpose and integrity. This is the power of Stoic humility, a steady, unshakable strength that allows you to grow, connect, and lead without ever needing to boast. Skill 9. Leading by example. In a world where words often outpace actions, the ability to lead by example is a rare and profound form of influence. It's easy to speak of values, to lecture others on what they should do, but far harder to embody those principles consistently. True leadership, as the Stoics understood, isn't about commanding others through words. It's about inspiring them through actions. The most respected individuals aren't those who demand obedience. They're the ones whose conduct naturally compels respect. The Stoic philosopher Seneca wrote, "Long is the way by precepts, but short and efficacious by examples." This highlights a timeless truth. People learn best not from what they are told, but from what they observe. To lead by example means aligning your actions with your principles, demonstrating what you believe through your behavior rather than mere rhetoric. It's about living in a way that inspires others to rise, not because you pressure them, but because they see in you a path worth following. Consider a scenario where tension arises in a group, perhaps at work or within a family. Everyone looks for guidance, unsure of how to proceed. You don't need to raise your voice or impose your will. Instead, you remain calm, thoughtful, and composed. You take measured actions, grounded in reason, and guide others not through force but through clarity and steadiness. Over time, people begin to trust you, not because you've told them to, but because your actions consistently reflect wisdom and integrity. They see that you live by the very principles you advocate. Leading by example also requires humility and self-awareness. The Stoics taught that leadership is not about self-glorification, it's about service. Marcus Aurelius, perhaps the most powerful leader of his time, constantly reminded himself in his meditations that he was a servant of the people, not their master. This mindset ensures that when you lead by example, it's not for recognition or applause, but for the greater good. You act because it's the right thing to do, not because it boosts your ego. Furthermore, leading by example cultivates a quiet, lasting influence. People may forget what you said, but they'll remember how you made them feel and how you conducted yourself during critical moments. When you consistently act with integrity, courage, and wisdom, you inspire those around you to do the same. They begin to ask themselves, how would they handle this situation? This kind of influence is powerful because it's not imposed. It's earned through consistent demonstration of character. But leading by example isn't about perfection, it's about authenticity. The Stoics never claimed to be infallible, nor did they expect others to be. Instead, they emphasized the importance of striving daily to live according to one's values, accepting mistakes as part of the process. When you lead by example, you don't need to pretend you have all the answers. Instead, you show others what it looks like to navigate life's complexities with honesty, resilience, and humility. Ultimately, leading by example transforms not only those around you but also yourself. It holds you accountable to your own values, ensuring that you don't merely speak of what's right, you live it. In doing so, you create a ripple effect, inspiring others to embody the same virtues. This is the Stoic ideal of leadership: quiet, steadfast, and deeply rooted in action over words. And in a world filled with noise, those who lead by example become unforgettable, not because they sought attention, but because they embodied something far more enduring: integrity in action. Skill 10. The enduring strength of consistency. In a world that often celebrates quick wins and fleeting success, the value of consistency is often overlooked. Yet, it is consistency, the quiet, unrelenting commitment to one's principles, that builds true character and lasting impact. The Stoics understood that real growth doesn't come from sporadic bursts of effort, but from steady, deliberate action over time. It's not what you do once in a while that defines you, but what you do repeatedly, day after day, especially when no one is watching. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You become what you repeatedly do. Therefore, your actions should be deliberate, for they will shape your soul." This underscores a critical Stoic belief that consistency is not just about forming habits, it's about forming your identity. Each choice, each action, each repeated effort molds who you are. By living consistently in accordance with your values, you become a person of integrity, someone whose character remains steady regardless of external circumstances. Consider someone who consistently remains calm under pressure. It's not that they never feel fear or frustration. It's that they've trained themselves, moment by moment, to respond with composure. This consistency becomes their defining trait, something others recognize and respect. Whether in moments of crisis or calm, they show up the same way, grounded, reliable, and steady. Over time, this builds trust. People begin to see them as someone who can be counted on, not because of grand gestures, but because of their quiet, unwavering presence. But consistency isn't glamorous. It's hard, often thankless work. It means showing up when you don't feel like it, doing what's right even when it's difficult, and staying committed when the results aren't immediate. The Stoics believe that true mastery comes not from sporadic effort, but from enduring discipline. Epictetus urged his students to practice virtue daily, reminding them that greatness isn't achieved in a single act, but through countless small acts of integrity. This steadfast approach to life doesn't just build external respect, it cultivates inner strength. When you consistently act in alignment with your values, you develop a sense of self-confidence that isn't easily shaken. You know who you are because your actions reflect it every day. In contrast, those who act inconsistently, driven by impulse or external validation, often feel lost, unsure of their identity. Consistency, therefore, becomes a guiding force, helping you stay anchored in who you truly are. Moreover, consistency has a ripple effect. When others witness your steady commitment, whether to personal growth, professional excellence, or relationships, they are inspired. They begin to see what's possible when one remains dedicated over time. Your consistency becomes a quiet form of leadership, showing others that real success isn't built overnight, but through persistent, meaningful effort. However, consistency doesn't mean rigidity. The Stoics taught that while we should remain unwavering in our commitment to virtue, we must also be adaptable to changing circumstances. It's about being steadfast in your principles while remaining flexible in your approach. This balance ensures that your consistency is a source of strength, not stagnation. Ultimately, consistency is the foundation upon which greatness is built. It's what transforms fleeting effort into lasting impact, turning intentions into reality. In a world where many start strong but falter along the way, those who remain consistent stand out, not because they seek attention, but because they embody reliability and perseverance. This is the Stoic path to lasting influence, a life lived with steady purpose, where each day becomes a building block of something greater. And in the end, it's those who remain steadfast, who show up every day with quiet determination, that people remember long after the moment has passed. Conclusion. Mastering these Stoic skills isn't about becoming someone others can't forget for superficial reasons. It's about becoming a person of depth, substance, and integrity. It's about cultivating a presence that resonates long after you've left the room, not because you sought attention, but because you lived with intention. True influence is never built on noise or empty words. It's built on quiet mastery, thoughtful action, and unwavering character. The Stoics knew that if you could command yourself, your mind, emotions, and actions, you would naturally become someone who commands respect and admiration. The path of Stoicism is not an easy one. It requires daily discipline, reflection, and a commitment to personal growth. But with each step, you transform. You become more grounded, more resilient, and more capable of navigating life's inevitable challenges with grace and wisdom. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no time. Instead, live as if each moment is your last." The call is clear. Live fully, live thoughtfully, and live in a way that leaves a lasting impact. Not because you crave recognition, but because you embody the highest version of yourself. If you found value in these timeless Stoic principles and want to continue your journey of personal growth and mastery, consider subscribing to this channel. Together, we'll explore more lessons from ancient philosophy that can help you build a life of purpose, strength, and lasting influence. By subscribing, you not only support this community but also commit to becoming the kind of person who inspires others, not by seeking attention, but by living with quiet, unshakable purpose. Thank you for watching, and remember, the journey to mastery begins with a single step. Take that step today. Stay grounded, stay purposeful, and keep striving to be better every single day. We'll see you in the next video.